It's the last day of the Wyoming High School State Rodeo Finals, and we're going to get right to the action. Starting with the Bearbacks, once they refigured out the point totals, it was Neil Williams of Mills that ended up being the state champion. He scored 79 points on his last ride and had a really good weekend to move up to the top spot. Moving over to the Saddle Broncs, Colton Miller of Lance Creek would make the most of his reride attempt, although he did not have to because he already had the title won. 77 was his score, and that's a good ride, Cowboy. In the tie-down roping, Cole Robinson of Vorkoff was the only one to get her done in less than 10 seconds on the last day. That helped because the points he earned on that run, plus the other points he earned over the weekend, would catapult him up to the number 1 spot, and he's headed to nationals as the state champ. Let's give the ladies their turn. In the pole bending, we had a tie for the state champ, so they both won belt buckles and saddles. This is Maddie Hepp of Gillette, zigzagging her way through the poles in just under 21 and a half seconds. Jana Lyons of Lander was about 1/4 of a second faster than Hepp was on the last day, and the extra points for the second place finish on Sunday was what created the tie. Cowboys and Cowgirls earned points based on where they finished at each rodeo throughout the season. Goat tying, Emily Faber of Rosette ended up having the second fastest time on the final day, 8.14 seconds. She had enough cushion room in the point standings that she could afford to not finish in first for the weekend and still be crowned number 1. Breakaway roping, K.L. Spratt of Lysite ended up being the fastest lasso thrower on the season on average. The last day was not one of her better times, but she's just glad she got the job done. That's good enough. Barrel racing, well, since rodeo is not a varsity sport, competitors from the other side of the state line are allowed to cross over and compete if they want to. So the Wyoming High School Queen of the Barrels is Chandler Markle of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. She prefers competing in the Cowboy State rather than the Cornhusker State. Back to the boys. In the steer wrestling, your state champ is Avery Jammerman of Wheatland. He would have the fastest time of the weekend at 4.32 seconds on this run, but he broke the barrier. It did not matter, though, in the end, just as long as he does not pull that stunt again at the High School National Finals Rodeo in July. Team roping, it's Cameron Irwin of Buffalo and Logan Milligan of Torrington winning the last day by 2/100ths of a second with a time of 9.03 seconds on their final run. That tiny fraction of a second made the difference as they won the weekend, which allowed them to take home the title of Best Team. Finally, the bull riding. Hawk Witt of Thermopolis caught fire in the last month of the season to rise up to the number 1 spot, although this crash landing on the final day brought him back to earth a little bit. To get to nationals, you have to finish in the top 4 in your event at the end of the season. Drew Antone of Kinnear was in 7th place when the weekend started. He went 2 for 3 on his bulls and was the only Cowboy to ride on the last day. 79 points, and that was just enough for him to jump to number 4 on the season and swipe the final spot for the high school NFR, which will be held in Gillette from July 17th through the 23rd.